Having trouble with your Schwintech Slide system on your RV? You've come to the right place. I'm going to show you the basic troubleshooting techniques that you can do to make your life on the road a little more enjoyable. And hopefully you never need to use these. But just in case, it can be easy peasy. So let's get started, okay? First of all, we got scenario one. Your slide won't go out. It's stuck in the out position. And you think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't drive down the road with my slide sticking out. So the very first thing you want to do, when you hit that little on in and out button and nothing happens, you want to check your fuse. Because there's a good chance if it's not making no noise, it ain't moving at all, you've blown a fuse. So check your fuse. And if it's blown, replace it. And then guess what? You're good to go. All right. The second scenario, it gets a little more complicated, but it's not really that bad. Number one, you go outside and you look at your Schwintech system. Are your channel and rails, are they clean and clear and not cluttered and not stuck with leaves or anything? Underneath the slide out, is there any debris, anything blocking it? Did one of your grandkids put a bike in there and jam it into place? Is there anything on the top? Did some debris or leaves or branches fall on it and stopping it from coming in? So you want to make sure that on the outside there's nothing stopping the slide from coming in. Now we go to the inside. And this is probably more a place where it's going to happen than on the outside. You can go on the inside. Is there a set of shoes stopping it? Is there a toy stopping it? Is there a cabinet door open stopping it from coming in? Is there anything impeding that slide from coming in on the inside of the RV? And if there is, you remove it. So now you've got the outside. We know it's free and clear, nothing stopping it from coming in. We got the inside free and clear, nothing stopping it from coming in. And we try it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we go to the next step of troubleshooting. Now we've got to find the control box. That's a little more difficult. They hide those. Mine is in my dinette chair or my dinette bench seat. I got to take off the bench seat, I got to take off the plywood, and I got to get down to the controller. And I don't know where yours is, but you're going to have to find it because you need to use that next. For the controller, there's 5 basic functions that it can show very easily. Number one, it can tell you got problems with motor number 1. It can tell you if you got problems with motor number 2. It can tell you if you got a battery fault, which is basically you don't have enough power in the battery to run it. Number 4, if you got a motor coach, you can't slide in or out unless you got the parking brake on. In my case, I don't have that, so I'm not even going to talk about it. Put your parking brake on and your slide works. Number 5, we got a power switch fault, which basically means we got to check connections to the switch, to the controller, to the batteries, to the motors. And most likely, if that's the problem, something's just come loose. You just got to snap it back in and you're good to go. If that's not the case, now we got to do a little more advanced troubleshooting. And the advanced troubleshooting has to do with the control unit itself. Okay, as we jump into the more advanced troubleshooting, I think we need to understand a little bit all the components that it takes to make this Schwintech Slide system work. We're going to start at the switch. You got one that brings it in or brings it out. Brings it in or brings it out. Pretty simple. Okay, that we have a little wiring harness that goes from the wall switch to the slide out controller. The slide out controller, it's the brains. It's the one that coordinates that the motors turn at the exact same speed to bring the slide in or bring the slide out. And we have to make sure those are synced up, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. The next thing that we have is we have a wiring harness. A wiring harness from the control unit to the motors, and we have 2 motors, one on the left and one on the right, or motor 1 or motor 2. Now we got to get power to it, so we get power from the battery, and we have a wiring harness from the battery to the control unit. And in there is, between the battery and the control unit, will be a fuse, which in my case, the fuse is on my fuse panel, and we talked about that earlier. So now that we know the components that we're working with, now we're going to go to the basic troubleshooting. If we don't see one of the 5 error codes on the original list, the left motor, the right motor, the not enough juice in the battery, blah, 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 then we say, well, we got to get it in. And how do we get it in? We go to get it in, we override all the safety features that the control unit have, which basically we push the mode button 6 times. And on the 7th time we hold it down. And we hold it down until the red and green lights start flashing crazy. Now, at that point in time, we've bypassed all the safety protocols that the control unit has. And we go in and we push the end button. And we cross our fingers, and hopefully it comes in. And if it comes in, you go home. And then you troubleshoot the problems at home in a nice, safe place. Because we can't drive down the road with the slide hanging out. Now your slide should go out, providing we don't have any other problems. It should come in, providing we don't have any other problems. We may need to resync it. If you do need to replace parts in it, it gets a little overwhelming, and we're not going into that because you'll need an RV technician to do that. So anyway, y'all take care now. Till we see it around the campfire, you take care.